Yeah, it
Gulf?
does
Yeah.
actually, because actually Bahrain is considered under the UN a small island developing state. So we are part of the SIDS, and because we're an archipelago of 33 islands, which together we make up the country, Bahrain. And it's so interesting to hear that you looked at sea level rise versus land mass of a small island developing state and relating that to climate change. So my PhD focus actually was on sea level rise and how that impacts coral reefs and small island developing states. And the reason I'm saying this is because, so coral reefs are made up of calcium carbonate, right? So if you think about yourself, this is us, but our bones gives us our skeleton, and our bones are calcium, right? Calcium carbonate. Or calcium. So what happens is if, say, you don't have enough, your bones are going to start breaking, and then, you know, things are just not good. So think of a coral reef exactly like that. Yeah. So their skeleton is made out of calcium carbonate, right? And that's how they like grow, and they go vertical, and they're quite cool. Now, if corals don't constantly build themselves, okay, they don't produce calcium carbonate, they're not going to be in a positive state. Why? So you can think about it like a bank account. So if you put money in more than you withdraw, you're in a positive state in your life, right?
Yeah.
But if you're withdrawing more than you are inserting your money, then you are in a very negative state. You know,
going broke.
That's not good. We're all broke. We keep the money going. Yeah, so you know, we're all working towards keeping our head above the water in life, right? And some lucky people, you know, are able to like get the whole body out of the water. But hey, you know, let's just keep the head out of the water for now. So when it comes to coral reefs, that's exactly the same thing. So if they can continue producing calcium carbonate, then they can keep up with sea level rise, because there's this vertical growth, right?
Yes.
Especially with branching corals. So then they can keep up with sea level rise, and then coral reefs are well known to protect islands from all the currents. So when there's tsunamis that come through, when there's storms, it's the coral reefs that protect the shores from all these like poof things. Yeah, that's why.
And like in Bahrain, is that like where like in Bahrain there are tsunamis and they're protected by the reefs?
Oh, well, we don't get tsunamis, but what does happen is that our sand gets eroded by the currents, by the water, by the tides. So every time the tides come in and the water gets stronger, then the sand goes down. It's all eroded. So then the island just naturally goes below water, and then we're going to drown, basically.
That's not good.
And most of our people, that's not good. That's not good. That's not good for any small island developing state, right? So we're trying to protect our shores through coastal protection. So most of these small islands developing are trying to protect it using what we now are advocating as nature-based solutions.
Wow.
So making
That's so cool.
We need to go back to nature, right? Because we're natural beings, right? We're natural beings. So what are we trying to do? We're saying, yo, people, coral reefs are natural ecosystems. They provide us with all the services we need, from our food, from everything you can think of, really. You know, and so we need to protect them, in addition to mangrove systems, in addition to seagrass beds, and then everything's interconnected. And with these small islands, we have all of these ecosystems. So it's so important. So with these coral reefs, if they don't produce the calcium carbonate necessary to keep up with sea level rise, they're going to drown, and then we're in big trouble as an island. And most of our people live on the coastal shores.
Okay. Yes.
If I can pause you really quick, for those of you listening, what you're getting at right now are two big topics that might be of interest to listeners: is biophilic design, and, you know, thinking about designing, you know, human systems around the natural environment. Like how can we mimic the natural environment in our own human built environment? And then also you're getting at a lot of broader points about ecosystem services and like the value that say coral reef or mangrove forests do provide beyond just, you know, existing. Like there's a lot of benefits that these ecosystems that we call ecosystem services that are provided by different ecosystems.